This was a picture from ages ago that I painted, which I've actually since painted over, but I was thinking about it this morning because I was thinking about a dream that I haven't talked about yet. Mainly because I don't really understand it and I can't find very much information online. Like my curiosity hasn't been satisfied that I've quite landed on the right answer. And there's still a disconnect between understanding it metaphorically and understanding what it means to me. Anyhow, in the particular dream that I'm talking about, I dreamt of a beautiful goddess who was wearing a Stargate belt. I think I just called it a Stargate belt when I wrote that dream down. It was a very wide, fashionable style belt made of brown leather, covered with tiny silver studs. It's the sort of belt that was very fashionable for a time to sort of have a large belt that covered quite a lot of your midriff. And even when I was slimmer, I wouldn't have worn that type of belt. I'd written at the time that like each silver stud related to a star or even a state of being. I didn't actually pick up on the fact that it was brown leather, and so there was a reference to sort of cow goddess symbolism and mythology as well. And I guess thinking of Newt and the sky goddess symbolism of her holding up the sky, that could be a belt in itself. I've read a little bit about this idea of Orion's belt, the stars we're familiar with, and that some authors have connected them to the pyramids. I'm not sure how valid that connection is because obviously there's been rotation since then. I did find that in Scandinavia, Orion's belt was called Freya's distaff and is associated with the idea of a spinning wheel or weaving. And there was a dream that I talked about in the second unpublished book where I was at my spiritual development circle, which I was in about 20 years ago, and I began to spin around in a dance, actually very much like I do now when I'm dancing and painting. And I started to spin horizontally and I felt uncomfortable, but it also felt good, like some of the flying dreams that I've had, like astral travel. And the teacher of the class asked me to stop spinning, and I had to really concentrate to slow down to a stop. And I sort of connected this to this idea of spinning like a wheel. There's a connection to the firework called the Catherine wheel and the history of St. Catherine, who was tortured on a wheel which broke, and in the head they had to behead her because they couldn't kill her on the wheel. I'm sure there's some reference to some deeper symbolism with the wheel there, as well as perhaps real historical events. I haven't researched it myself. As I like to say, I'm sure it'll all become clear eventually. Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe.